for like, 6 months, didn't really make anything. And then I had one offer hit. I made like $60K in 2 months. Over the course of like a year and a half, we grew from about 100K to like 2.5 million. Do I want to do this by myself and like go through all this stress or join a team?
Would you rather have a full grape or half a watermelon, Michael?
And he used that line on me too. So
welcome back to another episode of the Bad Marketing Podcast. On today's episode, I have someone very special flying in from Denver, Michael Jordan, not the basketball player, but still the GOAT, but in the Amazon space, not on the basketball court. This guy actually ran his own Amazon agency, has his own brands, blew this thing up. And then in 2022, we made a decision to merge and come together and make him a part of the Bad Marketing family. And now he actually leads the entire Amazon department as its own company within our infrastructure. And I'm so excited for him to walk through exactly how that merger took place, the good and the bad. It's very hard when you're working on a business for years to give that thing up to someone else and to put that trust blindly into someone else to lead you. And obviously so many things could go wrong. And I want him to walk you through exactly how that happened and also a bunch of tips and advice on the Amazon side so that you can take that back and grow your brand on Amazon or grow your agency a certain way based on how we did it ourselves. So with that being said, take out the notepad. If you're driving, if you're listening in a workout, wherever you are, just make sure to try to take some notes. There's a lot of valuable information in this episode, and I hope you get a lot out of it.
All right, Michael Jordan. Dude, first of all, we just have to address the fact that your name is fucking Michael Jordan. That's just like...
No one ever believes it. It's so funny.
Every time.
I'm not quite as tall or dark as you probably thought, right?
You definitely don't jump as high.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so why did your parents name you Michael Jordan? I feel like we just have to address this.
You're Asian.
Right. So ironically, like my absolute worst sport is basketball, of course, right? Asked them this multiple times and they're like, we just chose the name, but like kind of hard to believe because I was born in 91, which was like MJ's first championship, right? So like global superstar by then. So who knows if they're telling the truth or not, but apparently they just like the name.
I like the name too, right? Michael Jordan.
A lot of people do.
So Michael, you're
fun fact. Wait, let me tell a fun fact.
Okay.
Whenever I go to reserve reservations at a restaurant now, I just leave the name Michael Jordan. I always get a table. Like we're in Denver, we're going again. They're like, yeah, we're fully booked. We're like, okay, cool, no problem. We call it again. We're like, can we get a table for 8 for Michael Jordan? And like, you could tell the disappointment when we walked in and we're like, this is Michael Jordan. They're like, fuck.
That is hilarious.
Like the staff is like, oh, could it be him? Could it be him? Is he coming in today?
Dude,
so now, new hack. I do this in every city. I find the most prominent athlete, like a quarterback or something like that in every city, and I always reserve reservations whenever I can't get into a restaurant by their first name and last initial. So I don't use the whole name. Like I went to Arizona and they were like, we're fully booked. And I was like, call again and say table under Kyler M. So Kyler Murray's their quarterback. Got a table.
Wow.
Works virtually everywhere, bro. I'm like,
wow.
It's a high profile individual. We can't really give a name. Just put it under Kyler M. And then they're like, oh my God, it could be Kyler Murray. Like everyone starts thinking and they give us a table. When you walk in, you say your name. Like they're not going to deny you. You're already you got the table. So
you are a high profile individual.
All because that one time at Sushi
That's
Day.
crazy. So
that's
like,
so funny.
Best story of that happening was I played golf at a really nice course in Kiowa Island. All right, like $800 a round or something. We get there, there's staff like waiting at the door, like lining the door in the hallway, and we're walking in. I'm like, what's going on? And I check in, like Michael Jordan, 8:30 tea time, and they're like looking at me like, what do you mean, what's going on? What's going on with you? Right? And I'm like, Michael Jordan. And they like fully believed that the Michael Jordan was going to be playing there, right?
Wow.
They were like so back of house out and everything.
That's hilarious, dude. That's amazing. That's incredible. I was going to say something about the name under when you do the reservation. There was another tip that someone gave me, and it was like you basically like reserve it under. You say it's a high profile person, and then I can't remember like what the actual story was. This is a terrible story, but basically it was a YouTube video about that same thing. We can cut this part out. That was a terrible story.
What
I zoned out and I forgot.
That is an insane story that I have no idea what it is.
Anyways, Michael Jordan. So you're the head of Amazon here, and
partner.
And partner. So quickly kind of just tell us what you do on the day-to-day, what your job actually like looks like, and then we can kind of like dive into your past and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, sure. So, partner and head of Amazon here at 4Media, and pretty much just live, eat, and breathe Amazon every single day, right? So we'll bring accounts in, and we really try to focus on growing those accounts, right? And not like small numbers either, right? Somebody's doing 30, 50K a month. It's pretty decent. We'll take them to 300, 400, 500K a month, right? So, that's tip of the iceberg, right? We can go into like finer details of how we actually do that.
Hell yeah. So how does one even get to this ascension to Amazon elite?
Yeah, for sure. So
you were born in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, so born in East Tennessee in Knoxville.
Nice.
Have lived a few different places. Lived in Atlanta, live in Denver now currently. But let me see. So I'll go back to like, early days, like middle school. I think like a lot of good entrepreneurs, it all started with video games, right? So like I was big into RuneScape and like played so much RuneScape.
I had like 10 accounts over level 100.
For sure. So playing RuneScape, but this was like dial-up days, right? So like, and I was like in middle school, right? So I had curfew and all that stuff. And I would sneak up at night to play RuneScape and like
on
more
your
RuneScape.
Family computer.
Yeah, on our family computer in the sunroom.
Oh, everyone had the family computer.
Yeah, absolutely. So that turned into like, well, I want to like play more RuneScape and get to like level 99 and all that stuff. So I got into the like community of like building bots. So I learned how to code Pascal and was like in this kind of like deep community of RuneScape where I was coding bots. And that like initially got me into, I would say like the internet world, right? And like through that just transformed. I like
Did you sell these bots?
No, so never sold the bots.
My friends would, so we were big into bots too. My friends would build bots and sell them, like an Archer bot or like a cow
mining bot,
mining bots. Yeah.
So I did like mine gold and would sell like RuneScape gold.
In real dollars.
Yeah, in real dollars.
How were you like actually transacting, and did your parents even
eBay.
know about this?
It was like just on these forums and like through PayPal.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Even on eBay,
know?
bro. You could buy RuneScape gold on eBay back in the day.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. So you just like figured out a way to get around it. Your parents had no idea you were making money.
Yeah, no,
it's
zero
not
idea.
that much money.
Yeah,
right.
But
I'm not making like, not even like thousands. Like there were guys making like a lot of money, but I'm making like, I don't know, not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that like got me into, I would say, the internet world. And then I learned about affiliate marketing. And, I'm like selling stuff on Craigslist and eBay, like small batch from AliExpress, like 20 units, 50 units, and just kind of flipping that. And this is like in middle school, right?
So what does that look like? You're buying them from AliExpress in small bulk, like 20 to 50?
Yeah. So like for people that don't know, Alibaba is what you might hear about a lot, right? But that's like large batch. Like I want to buy, like manufacture something and sell like 5,000 units of it, or order 5,000 units, right? AliExpress is usually like the like defects, really. It's like a Marshalls or TJ Maxx or something like that for these manufacturers. So you can go on there and buy a small batch of products like iPhone cases or iPhone screens or whatever. And back in the early days, I was just flipping that on eBay and Craigslist. So that kind of got me into like, say digital marketing world and like the e-commerce world.
So now you're doing basically the same thing.
Yeah, just at like a much larger level, right? And then like through that, got into affiliate marketing. And I would say for like, 6 months, didn't really make anything. And then I had one offer hit. I made like 60K in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
It was a timeshare offer. So I was running like banner ads on, the sites of websites back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was like you were running the ads for the timeshare, and then just one of your ads just
it's just
went.
through like affiliate offers through like ClickBank or whatever.
Yeah.
And every time someone transacts, he would basically get a percentage of it.
Yeah. So like I'm looking at CPA versus like what I get paid out, like $40 if somebody goes and signs up for a timeshare.
Yeah. Was it the creative, like the actual banner itself? Do you think it was the main thing, or was it the offer, or what?
The audience. I just like hit the right targeting, the right demographic on the right website. Yeah. So like then I had to tell my parents, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I do?
Like, wait, I just made more than them. We need to talk now.
And like back then, like I didn't
You
really
made $60K
know.
in profit?
Yeah. And this was
Nice.
like early high school, like I think like sophomore year.
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, I would have gone nuts if I made
You're
60
balling.
grand sophomore.
Bro, I had no idea like how much or like how significant it was that I made 60K in like 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So we go to the accountant and he's like mind blown. Like you're probably going to get audited. You just made more in 2 months than most people in this region make in like a year, right? So like that kind of like got me into, I would say, the next tier of this like digital marketing world.
What was your mindset like then? Were you like, oh, I can do this again? Or did you feel like you got lucky? Or were you like, what was your kind of...
Great question.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight, I definitely got lucky, but like back then I was like, oh, you know, this is easy.
This
I'll
is my
just-
new normal.
Yeah, this is new normal. I'll just keep doing this.
It was easier back then, though, dude.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
really was.
Plus I had like all kinds of things going on. So like growing up, I like played a lot of sports. I grew up on a farm, so I was always outside like working on the farm and like mowing grass and like all that stuff, baling hay. And then on the weekends and like in my free time after school, I would just go and like do this weird internet stuff. My parents like had no idea. They trusted me and they saw that I was like making money. Like, no, it's like legal, I promise. Yeah.
Did you tell anyone like from school? Or,
No,
like-
like, you know, I was pretty like, I don't know, back then, like you think about girls and you like play sports really. It's like what all my friends were doing, right? And I'm like this playing RuneScape and like coding bots and like making all this money. So absolutely not. Yeah.
That's so funny.
And like
So-
back then it wasn't really cool either, right? Now like everybody wants to be a digital marketer, an entrepreneur, but
But making 60K is probably pretty cool.
yeah, for sure.
Maybe not the way that you did it probably wouldn't seem that cool, but I mean,
Right.
60K is 60K. I mean,
Dude,
shoot.
sign me up. I'll take that right now.
Right.
Seriously. 60K in 2 months. Where do I sign?
Yeah.
That's sick. So after high school,
Yeah,
you went to
so-
college.
Yeah, so I went to the University of Tennessee, got an industrial engineering degree.
Go Vols.
Yeah, go Vols.
Boo.
And then like, you know, my parents are really traditional, like had a great upbringing. My parents are still together. So like very traditional family. They were both in like medical profession. So I was expected to go to college, like get a good job afterwards, et cetera. But I always had these like side businesses. I had like 5 more businesses.
Did you
through
ever strike?
college.
Did you ever strike like more than just like, was that 60K like the most impressive one from high school, or did you keep going and doing like?
No, that 60K was definitely like the most impressive, the like biggest amount, but like all through high school, all through college, I had like different businesses, like running like Google AdSense on blogs that I would auto generate, right? About like iPhone articles and Android articles and stuff like that. So I was like making money all through high school and college.
Nice.
Which
and
is
it was
crazy.
Yeah. Did you ever work like a normal job during that time, or were you always just doing your own thing on the internet?
No, so I had like an engineering internship, but otherwise like paid for like the fraternity, paid for like all my expenses, bought a sweet Tacoma. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world, all with like internet money.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So all through college, you were still kind of doing this, and when did it kind of like turn into something else? You graduated with what degree?
Yeah, so graduated from UT with a engineering degree, went to Nashville, had like 9 to 5 job. On the year mark, you know, my manager brings me in, we're doing like a year review, like telling me how great I'm doing. I'm like, well, actually I want to turn my 2 weeks notice in, right? So like back up a little, like 3 months before that, I was like building a print on demand business on the side. And it like reached a point to where I could afford to leave my business or the 9 to 5.
Nice. What were you making?
It was print on demand canvases.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you were selling them where? On Shopify?
So I tried on Shopify. I was like running Facebook ads. And then for like 3 months, nothing hit. So I went to Etsy.
I figured.
Yeah. Like a week later, I get a sale and I'm like ecstatic, right? I've been working on this for like, 3-4 months. One sale on Etsy, and then the next day I get another sale, and it just starts kind of snowballing from there. So I'm like back then, print on demand wasn't really a thing. Like maybe for t-shirts it was, but you didn't have like anything and everything you can print on demand now, right? So I am like placing an order through just this like front-facing manufacturer's website, right? It's not like wholesale or anything. And eventually I get to like 20, 30 orders a day, and somebody calls me and they're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're placing so many orders, and we had like fraud look into it, and it's all coming from your credit card, right? So then I like work out a wholesale deal with them, get to a point where that's profitable just from Etsy, figure out Facebook ads, start running those, and it's like way easier before iOS 14.
Way easier.
Yeah, and was able to leave my 9-to-5 after about a year. So that's like the only traditional job I've ever had.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how did you?
Let me say something though. Did you feel like that job helped you?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very important.
If I went back, I would work in the corporate world for longer. I was at like a Fortune 5 company. I would try to work for a smaller company for longer, like 5+ years, learn everything, like learn management skill, just learn how businesses work. And I think that would be very valuable.
I agree. I always say this to everyone. I wish I learned more while I was at Lifetime about running the business instead of doing my job and like stayed longer. Or even was at a different company and stayed longer. I think if I had an extra 1.5 years of corporate experience, I think Form Media right now would have 1,000 team members.
Yeah.
That's the difference in my opinion. There's so many things I learned the last like 3 years that if I was just aware enough when I was in a corporate job, I would have learned it back then. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the hardest part about like once you start getting like a team and stuff, like you don't know how to manage them. You don't know how to deal with problems that maybe arise within the team and stuff like that because, I had 1 year experience.
Yeah, and you can manage a team of like 5 or 6 fairly easily, but once you kind of get beyond that, it's like, okay, now I need to step out of just being the guy that's kind of telling everyone what to do and stuff. Like even when I worked at like Dunkin' Donuts, it was like there's so many SOPs. Like I remember like watching training videos on this like internal training website, and it's like, oh, whoa, someone had to like animate all these videos and no one's going to see them except for employees ever, you know, like stuff like that, where it's just like, whoa, some of this stuff goes so deep on the internal side that you would like never know.
Right.
So at what point did this become an Amazon thing for you?
Yeah. So, had that print on demand business and like eventually like went all in, left the 9-to-5, moved back into my parents' basement. And like I had all these things going on.
Why would you do that if you were making money?
Because I left my job and I didn't have enough money to, support myself like for everything I wanted to do. Right. And like, I didn't want any overhead expenses. So like, again, great like upbringing, great family, great parents that are super supportive. So like moved back in, had 0 rent, had home cooked meals, all that.
It's hard to say no to that.
I think that's one of the most underrated parts of becoming successful is the parents' basement.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously.
And like super fortunate that I was like had that to go back to.
Yeah, same here. I had the same situation, and I think back, and I think of friends who got jobs, not like super high paying jobs, but jobs, and they immediately were like, how can I go move out of my parents' house, as opposed to like, how can I pocket more money right now? And it shows years later, you know what I mean? How they worked for years and didn't keep a single dollar because they spent it all on a new place that they got in Buckhead in Atlanta.
Not only the new place, but like the lifestyle of living in that place with all your friends who did the same shit.
All of it. And even like back to like even just the home cooked meals part, like saving money on food adds up pretty quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
And like, especially living alone with your friends, you eat out all the time, all the stuff, it just like snowballs into like your $1,800 of rent actually is a $3,000 expense at the end of the month, all things being said, versus like living at home. I probably spent like hundreds of dollars a month max.
Plus like bandwidth, like I'm just down there working. I don't have to worry about anything else. Like how am I going to make money to pay rent? Like grocery shopping or like cooking or anything. It's just like, hey, dinner's ready. Like, come up. I run up and eat and then go back down to my computer.
Same thing here.
Right? Yeah.
So what did that look like? You moved back to your parents' house.
Yeah.
You started doing things online. What got you into Amazon? Were you watching DVDs back then? Because there wasn't many videos online.
Yeah, so like to get into Amazon, you know,
This is what, 2013, 14?
No, this is like 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, 2017. So there was definitely like trainings. There was one course out, like the big course that started Amazon courses, right? But
whose course?
It was called, gosh, I'm blanking on it right now.
Like, imagine how much money that person.
Yeah, they charged $10K for it.
Wow.
And that was like 2017, so that was big money.
Yeah.
Back then for a course.
It's like $30K today for a course.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so like I had sold on Amazon before, like, you know, stuff from AliExpress, right? It was a lot easier. There wasn't brand gating and stuff like that. I found a guy, he reached out to me through like mutual connections. He was running private label. He was doing like, you know, 100K a month. Asked if I wanted to come work for him. That was actually in Alpharetta, right? So moved to Atlanta, started working with this guy. We had like my office was like half of this room right now, right? It was basically a broom closet. And for like a year, we just grinded and built this private label, like classic private label Amazon business, right? Ordering stuff from China and sea freight containers, private label, just slapping our brand name on it and selling it on Amazon. We grew from about 100K over the course of like a year and a half to like 2.5 million. So
What kind of products was it?
like home goods mostly. Yes. So like not, you know, supplements or any of the big stuff. So I learned in like a really good category, in like hard goods and home goods. There wasn't
Like what kind of stuff?
like small electronics.
Got it. Like kitchen appliances or
tabletop
like,
lamps and shit like
exactly.
Got
like
it.
spatulas and stuff like that.
Dude, I just bought a 10-pack of spatulas on Amazon.
Yeah.
For
got me.
what, bro? To spank your girl with her? What do you need?
The
10
one
spatulas
pack
for?
was like literally
Two
$7.
in the bedroom.
It was
one
like
in the
$7
kitchen.
to buy one, or like $12 to buy 10, and I'm like,
That's how they
I'm
get you,
buying
man.
10.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even need these.
Because here's the thing: is the spatula over a couple of years ends up like breaking or
a couple
ripping.
years, bro. You have 10. You're talking
I
2
have 10
decades
now, and I will not buy a spatula for a while.
Bro, if I was you, I would just start putting them in random places in the house, like in a drawer in the bathroom, or like upstairs in a
Nightstand.
bedroom. Yeah, under a pillow.
Yeah.
Like
tuck it into bed.
all this random shit that your roommates start finding spatulas all over the house.
That would be hilarious. I should do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, but so for, you know, about a year and a half, had that like really quick run up again, you know, similar to like the affiliate marketing. So, and it was certainly like easier back then, right? So we didn't know how good we had it, but upgraded to 20,000 square foot new build warehouse. So I was like in the warehouse, and like we got our first forklift, right? And like I'm a dude, so I'm like, this is gonna be sick. I get on the forklift and like 4 hours later at midnight, I'm like, fuck this. I'm never running a forklift again. So next day we hire somebody to run the forklift.
I drove a forklift for like 10 years straight.
Man,
I was insane.
it's fun
That's why
at
I'm so good
first.
with cars.
It's fun
Forklift
at first,
certified.
except in Atlanta heat. In the summer.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
in a
outside or in a warehouse?
In a
Yeah.
warehouse.
We had AC in our warehouse.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big difference. Forklifts are fun, bro.
Yeah, they are.
Dude, I swear to you, I was like 10 years old driving a forklift. Like
Where, in
carrying-
Lebanon or in
here,
America?
here
In America.
Norcross. Like
What were you doing?
Carrying pallets of wood and tile off the
Oh,
shelves.
because your dad was in flooring.
Yeah, dude. We had 5 million square feet of flooring in the warehouse.
Yeah.
I was like pulling pallets off the top, like making these adults look like schmucks, like going inch by inch. I'm like reversing, like doing the craziest shit with this. It was so fun, dude. I love forklifts.
That's amazing. That's sick. Okay, so that was in Alpharetta, right?
Yeah,
you stayed here for a little while, right?
Yeah,
In
for about
Georgia?
2 years.
Nice.
So like I learned Amazon, and then like ran all the ads, did all the marketing, listing creation and stuff. So I learned like very hands-on, and I never had like courses or anything.
When did Amazon Prime come out?
I have no idea like the exact date. It was certainly out like by then. This was like into
Yeah, I was about to
2018.
say, it came out like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's been around for a while, but I feel like now it's just like to the point
Actually,
where
less. It came out in like 12 because I did a study on Amazon in college in 2013, and at the time they were losing $5 billion a year on free shipping from Prime.
wow. That's
Fucking
crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Anyway, so yeah, you got to get it. What was like the peak that you guys started making from
Yeah. So we got up to like a little over 4 million.
a month?
No, per year,
Holy
annually,
shit.
just revenue,
I was
right?
like, holy.
Yeah. So like 4 million a year.
Still,
But, like,
350 a month. Pretty
Right.
solid.
In profit?
No,
No,
Or
revenue. Yeah,
Okay, nice.
revenue.
Nice.
And then like my first Prime Day,
Which is something people don't understand, right? Like they
Right.
see like the Shopify numbers and the Amazon numbers. Like out of that 4 million, how much was actually profit? Maybe 800K?
maybe
Maybe,
Yeah.
right? Probably less. All
Yeah.
things considered, the warehouse.
after
everything.
like everything. So
maybe half a
overhead.
mil after
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
which is
And
crazy.
And how many people were on your team?
I had two like under me, like doing the marketing and sales side. And then the warehouse eventually, like by the time I left, had, a full team of like 10 plus.
Nice.
Yeah.
So people don't realize that sometimes having a job is way better than running a company. Like if you think about his situation, you make $4 million of sales on Amazon. If you have your own warehouse, all these things down to 500K, but for 500K, you're managing teams. You have all this liability, rent, overhead stress. If you stop tomorrow, like you owe money every single month, but you could go get a sales job and make 40K a month and pull in 500K a year
Right.
without any of that liability and responsibility. And I think a lot of people have the idea of the business owner, and don't get me wrong, there's great sides to it, of course, and there's definitely high ceilings.
And there's a lot of upside.
a lot of upside, but that upside is deserved based on that. Like they don't realize that
The level
4
of
million.
risk and stress and all these things.
Dude, let alone remove the stress, team management, all these things. Out of $4 million, you're risking 3.5 mil.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? That alone is already in itself a headache. And then you have like payroll, taxes, employment laws, a million other things on the list. And I say personally for me, if you're trying to make 300 to 500K a year, I think I 100% believe your best bet to do that is not starting a company. It's to go like be a realtor, do real estate investing, or like sales, high ticket sales of some sort. And you can make that same money with way, way, way less stress.
Or like software or crypto now. Like back then, crypto wasn't really a thing like how it is now with companies. But yeah,
100%.
100%
I mean, look
agree.
at these
Yeah.
grays in this beard, dude. You could get that 500K without these.
Yeah. But no, like 100%. Like friends ask me all the time, like, hey, I want to start my own business and stuff. Or, like kids. Like I went back to my college entrepreneur class and like talked to those kids last year. I'm like, I mean, I didn't like directly tell them this like during the presentation, but afterwards when they were asking me how to make money and stuff, I'm like, look, go to a small startup, right? Even like 100, 200 person, and like get into, be like somebody's right-hand man, right? And like get with them, you're going to have way less stress, much bigger chance of success too.
And you're going to learn so much.
Like much more rapidly. And you're like guaranteed to make money. I mean, I can't tell you like multiple times when in that business and like other businesses, I'm like, all right, who am I not going to pay? And like, you're always the first. Right?
Totally.
Or like, if I don't collect this invoice in the next like week, I'm not going to be able to pay XYZ. Right.
Yeah. That's a lot of stress, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah. It's also why we get paid, right? We carry that stress and risk. So
Totally. So
Gray hairs.
you moved
And
on,
gray hairs.
you moved on from that company.
Yeah.
What,
So
what was that like?
Yeah, that partnership like fell apart. So moved on and started my own Amazon private label shop. Right. So within 4 months after the first PO and like first launch of the first product, which is usually around 3 to 4 months, I was like back on my feet. Right. Doing like multiple 100,000 revenue run rate per month.
Per month.
Yeah. Per month.
Nice.
Right. And the rest is history. So
What is it?
Whoa.
You can't just skip over the rest. He's like, yeah, I started making like $1 million.
So
a month,
at this point, you were living in Georgia, and then when did you move to Denver? You went Georgia to Denver immediately, or was there an in between?
No, so to Denver and all right, so back up. So like while that was taking off, like the 2 years that was taking off, right? I didn't have a place.
So it didn't happen like overnight.
No, definitely not. And like big numbers, right? But like you got to remember you're buying inventory, you're launching new products. So I'm not just like rolling in the money like while this business is scaling, right?
Yeah.
But I have enough money to like start going to masterminds, and then I pretty much just digital nomad for like a year and a half or 2 years, up until COVID hit. Right. So I'm in Bali, I'm in San Diego, all in California, like all throughout the US, Thailand for like multiple months, and just like traveling, bopping around, while I'm like working from a laptop.
Living the digital nomad dream kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? Like, did you feel like you were living the dream? Was it as cracked up as it, like, was it all that it was cracked up to be for you?
So for me personally, no, but like I had a great time, but I have like really big aspirations, right? I think for a lot of people, you can make like really good money, like multiple hundreds of thousands per year, and like do the digital nomad thing. But for me, like I was like, I'm not going to build a $100 million business being a digital nomad, right? Like the internet in Bali goes out all the time. There's typhoons, and like it's hard to manage like a team to grow $100 million business.
It's hard to be a degenerate, a full-time degenerate.
Right.
And
It's not even that. The digital nomad life is not what it's made out to be.
Exactly.
Period, point blank. Like it is, you are not as productive. Wi-Fi is not as consistent as people think. Like I was just in Lebanon. I'm popping up a hotspot to work all the time. Don't get me wrong. I was super productive, but it also sucks when you're not in an office in a weird way, because like in an office, you're like locked in. When you're in a digital nomad life and like things are happening around you, and you have like a headset in and you're trying to like take calls, and like you start getting kind of FOMO, like, man, I need to wrap up work soon so I could go do this thing that's happening here and that. And like, and a lot of times you just don't even have internet to do things. And I think a lot of people underestimate what that looks like. And they think like, because everyone sold this amazing lifestyle online, like, I mean, just the fact that you're working from where were you working from? Bali?
Yeah, Bali, Thailand.
Like the time difference is fucking insane, dude. I can't even get on a call with someone from Thailand right now. And like I was in Lebanon, 7 hours ahead of Eastern, 10 hours ahead of Pacific. To get on a call with someone Pacific time was fucking hell, dude. They either had to get up at like 6 o'clock to be able to talk to me, or I had to get on a call at like 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? It was like so unnecessary. And that's not even, Thailand's like 13, 14 hour difference from Eastern time. 13. So it's like,
I kind of think European time zone is almost like the best, because you can like wake up. You can wake up like at a normal time, and you're like ahead of everyone.
it depends. If you're talking Eastern time, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're talking Pacific time, it's like,
a lot.
it's still really hard. Like
Yeah.
Pacific time is so far from everything else outside of the US.
I'm in it right now.
Those like -3 hours. No, really though, those
It's
-3
even just
hours,
3 hours. Yeah.
they make a huge difference.
It does suck.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
But like, there's always an excuse too, like, oh, the surf's good today, or like it's happy hour, this group's going out, I've been wanting to meet these people, and like, so it's really easy to like get distracted, right? Plus, like, I found it got pretty lonely. Like, you're bopping around from city to city, and like until you build like maybe a good digital nomad community like around you.
Yeah, or you like find a couple of people that you're like, let's go
Right.
here next. Let's go here next. You just kind of travel together a little bit or something.
Which is hard too.
It is hard.
It is.
It's easier to just find people in that city and like stay in that
Totally,
city.
totally. Especially because the whole digital nomad thing is you're kind of trying to do your own thing.
All right.
Most people aren't trying to like buddy up. They're trying to like solo travel, meet people, see the world. But you got that out of your system, I guess. And
Yeah.
like it was probably worth it in that regard.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like, if
I
you
think
could do it
everybody
again.
should travel around like that for like a year or two.
Totally.
While they're young. So like got that out of my system, and then I wanted to move somewhere outside of Tennessee, outside of the East Coast, but I didn't like quite want to go to the West Coast, like California, for like business reasons, right? Taxes and all that. So settle on Denver, and it like fits my lifestyle, right? I like to ski, snowboard, like mountain climb, and do all that stuff.
You don't just like to do those things.
Yeah,
That's
I do
that
it a
is
lot.
like Michael's life.
What are you talking about? He said, I kind of dabble.
When
It's
did
like,
you start
okay.
snowboarding? Because you're pretty serious.
Like 13, 14.
In Tennessee, were your parents
Yeah.
taking you on trips?
Yeah, so like we lived, like Knoxville's really close to the Smoky Mountains, right? And then they call it a like ski resort. It's a like hill basically, right? So like we would go to the ski hill, and like in high school, like we'd cut out a class like last period early and just skip class and go to snowboard if there was like, you know, a quarter of an inch overnight or something.
So
awesome.
let's talk about when you finished the digital nomad side, right? What happened? You went back to Denver? Is that
Yeah, so moved to Denver.
okay? Moved. Oh,
Yeah.
that was your initial move to Denver,
Right.
And then you
That was
started
during
your
COVID?
That was March 2020. So like
Wow.
like 3 weeks before COVID hit.
You moved to Denver,
Yeah,
right?
What an
3
L!
weeks
What an L!
But it turned out really well.
Why?
So
Weren't you just stuck inside?
no, because Denver's such an outdoor city.
Fair. You were
So,
just
like,
going on mountains anyways. It didn't matter.
Right. So like there's nobody up there. There was no traffic. There's no ski traffic. They're like, oh, you have to wear a mask to snowboard. Like, cool, I already do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like doing the 14ers and stuff, there's nobody up there. And then
And you were running your agency at the time?
right.
Okay.
So got a small office in Denver because I wanted that like consistency and schedule. Had some local employees and was running my personal brands and like a small agency.
What was it called?
My agency,
Yeah.
Sun Creek.
Sun Creek.
Yeah. You know how I got that?
No. I
I was-
assume something outdoor.
Literally backpacking on like a 3-day trip. And, you know, like before I moved to Denver and I was sitting there having like morning coffee and this is so cheesy. The sun was like shining across the creek and I'm trying to think of names and I'm like, Sun Creek, it's perfect.
It was a good name.
Yeah.
And
it's
for,
not bad.
for you, who you are, it's a great name. too,
Right.
Right. It's like, it embodies you.
Yeah.
Like if a customer complains, like, Michael, you're not answering me, dude. It's in the name. Like I'm outside, my friend. I am not here to
I am in a creek.
or in the sun somewhere. So deal with it. So what was that like? Was it stressful running an agency compared to running your own brands? Like walk me through what that was like. And then, you know, how did we end up here?
Yeah. Short answer, so stressful. Like running your own business and then like, so I never started out like whenever I got into Amazon, right? I had my own private label brands. A few of those are like very successful. A few like failed and I shut those down. Right. So I've seen both sides. So
Are you
like,
still running some of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He's got dog brands too.
Yeah. So
Nice.
a pet brand that's doing really well.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the agency just kind of started like out of, not necessity, but just like demand, right? People are coming to me like, hey, I heard you crush on Amazon. Like, will you help me? Eventually it got to the point like, yes, but I'll have to charge, right? Even to consult. And then it just kind of evolved into like running accounts. So my first agency account was a supplement brand. We took them from 2 million to about 28 million. And I fell in love with supplements.
Wow.
I'm sure you would after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the genre of supplements?
Just like general, so like fish oil, COQ10, like general supplements.
Nice.
Like
They
that.
sold everything.
Yeah, pretty
Nice.
much.
And then, so in the process of agency, it was super stressful, but you were still getting really good results, but running the agency wasn't the most fun thing. What got you to the conversation we started having together?
Yeah, I mean, so never wanted to start an agency, but the money's great, right? And like it just started like building, like got one client, really successful, word got out, got another client. And then before I know it, I've, 5, 6, 7, 10 clients, a couple employees, and like I'm wearing all the hats. I'm the accountant. I'm the guy up at night if the bills aren't, going to get paid, if somebody's late on an invoice, just like classic solo founder, right? Wearing all the hats, doing everything.
But you have to be, right?
Yeah, you have to be. And I do think that like that's good. Like I don't, regret any of that. I learned so much about like every aspect of running a business, right? But so stressful.
I don't
And,
see any
like,
gray hair though.
Not yet.
He's got good genes.
Yeah,
He's definitely got good. Those Asian genes stay young. So it was stressful. You didn't, you weren't about doing all those things. And then what?
Yeah, so I think like, had like Q4 review and was just looking at finances like, wow, the agency's doing pretty well. And it's like funding my brand. So made a decision to focus on the agency more. 2 months later, I think is when you approached me.
Yeah.
So it was almost like,
It was like in February.
yeah. So like I'd never planned to start an agency. I never planned to like sell an agency or anything like that. But I was kind of like, well, this is, a unique position to be in. Let me look at this. Let me think about this. And then, yeah, that's like kind of when we started dating, was around like February.
Yeah. And then you flew out to the office.
Yep.
We spent a few days together. I think it was a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then you flew back. What was going through your head at the time?
So again, I had like
So
decided
remember we
to,
had Jinya. Jinya was the last meal we had.
Yeah. I decided to focus on the agency, right? So like, but then you approached me. We, had a conversation. You flew me out here to Denver or to Atlanta, went back to Denver and was thinking like, talking to friends and everybody. And
what was your first impression of like 4Media? You came in the office.
Yeah. I mean, like, to be honest, it's like what I envisioned building myself over the next like 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's, kind of a segue into like, do I want to do this by myself and like go through all this stress and uncertainty and like, there's a 50-50 chance. Maybe by then like 60-40 because I'm a little seasoned.
Yeah.
But like, do I want to do that all by myself or do I want to like join 4Media and like you printed the vision for me and like laid it out and like it vibed with me well, right? So do I want to do that by myself or join a team and do that like much faster and like have a lot of fun while I'm at it?
And here we are today.
Here we are.
Would you rather have
half a watermelon? Or would you rather have a full grape?
Full grape.
Or half a watermelon, Michael?
And he used that line on me too. So,
dude, it's just a really good analogy. It's like,
yeah,
fuck.
I mean, what's like a reasonable person gonna say?
Yeah, right. Like if you say an entire grape, like get the fuck out of here.
Well, how big's this grape, Eddie?
I mean, what's the biggest grape you've ever seen? That's what I'm saying, dude. And what's the smallest watermelon?
Even the biggest grape is not bigger than the
smallest watermelon.
Slice of watermelon.
Yeah. But that's crazy, man. And it's cool to see now, like, I don't know when this is releasing, so I don't know how much we can talk about like what would just happen this weekend, you know what I mean? Yeah. And seeing that, and now it's like what we thought was we were going to be in a few years a year ago is probably like a halfway point now instead of like an end point, you know what I mean? Considering everything that's happening. So it's really cool to see that, but give me some like tangible and tactical Amazon advice, because here's what I see you do that's super important. Like, you're not necessarily like, and I mean this super respectfully, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like you're working like 15 hours a day and you're like, learning insane tactics on Amazon. What's really cool about you is I see you go into an account, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a partner to go and get these accounts, right, and have these conversations with confidence. Sometimes, like, I know if someone's doing $300K a month, I know if like, without even looking at it, I'm like, yeah, if Michael touches it, it'll probably be at like 450, 500K. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And every time it's like, for everyone that's listening, we do like wins in our company once a month. And it's like, we get to Amazon. They're like, yeah, we broke another record. And we did 1.2 million this month on the store. They did 10,000 last month. Like, obviously that's in it.
They're like, yeah, if you break that down, we're making about $40 a minute or like something. Like whatever it was. Like,
yeah, so we calculated on that account you're referencing, and it was $15 per minute.
Like
profit.
Yeah, not even like, dude. If I was an owner and I was just knowing from my team that I was making $15 a minute in profit, that all my decision would be like that. I'm like, should I buy this? Yeah. By the end of the hour, I'll have paid for it.
That's like the old like, I don't know who started this, but it was like the idea that like, is it worth it for Bill Gates to like pick up a $1 bill?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like he's gonna make more than $1 just bending down in that second,
which is
like,
insane.
It's absolutely nuts.
So give me some advice for someone listening who like is into Amazon, who has Amazon accounts. Like, what are the main things that you look for that really move the needle?
Yeah.
On Amazon, like top 3, top 5 things that you feel are the easiest levers to pull that I think a lot of people overlook.
Yeah, for sure. So to start, I think like everybody gets to like, squirrel syndrome or shiny object syndrome, right? You get on Instagram and you're hit with some guru's ad saying like, try this new method. What we do is nothing like insanely special, right? It's kind of like everything laid out perfectly because we have so much experience now. We just know like what levers to pull, when to pull them, what to do if something doesn't work out how we thought, what to do if something does work out. Like, and
give me an example of those levers.
Yeah, for sure. But like all that to say, like, don't think it's some like special, like super secret sauce, right? Obviously we have like tactics and stuff that we do, but at a base level, like start with your listing, right? So like classic leaky bucket in marketing, right? If somebody goes to your listing and your price is too high, your images suck, they're like different ratios, they're kind of blurry, they're not the right size, they're washed out, like your bullets are mismatched, they're not formatted correctly, your A+ content, like everything on your listing.
You're not answering all the questions that buyers have.
You're not answering all the customers' questions. So like somebody goes to Amazon. Amazon's the second largest search engine on the web behind Google. They're going to Amazon. They're searching for a keyword, a product that they want to buy. But they already have a list of questions in their head that they need answered by a listing. So if you don't answer all of those questions, they're going to click the back button and they're going to go to another listing. And they have 50 other listings, 200 other listings that they can do that on. So you have to do like all of the research, and you have to make sure your listing is optimized, but not just optimized like what you think is optimized, optimized for customers' buying decisions and like purchasing decisions.
Totally.
Yeah.
I've even seen it recently where it's like there's two products. I know they're the exact same. Like they're definitely sourcing from the exact same place, but because one listing has better pictures and can guarantee me that like this one little thing is exactly
like the
how
dimensions or the Bluetooth is there.
Exactly. Or like, you know, for example, I'm looking for like a bag. One of them has it like the pocket open. I can see if there's like another little mini pocket. If the other listing doesn't have that, like I'm like, okay,
sure.
I'm going to buy from this one because at least I know this or whatever.
Yeah. So what sold you on the 12 spatulas?
Well, what sold me on the 12 spatulas is because I have a very particular type of spatula that I like, and it resembled
you like or your girl likes
that I like.
Okay, just making sure.
When I'm making eggs, because you know I make hella eggs.
Oh, I thought you were making something else. Okay.
Different type of fetus.
Jeez, dude. Gee, that was too much. This is the line you took it to.
I jumped way over. It resembled it the most, and I was like looking for that, and again, it was like there was another listing for one. It was like $7 or 10 for like 12, and I'm like I wanted to buy more than one, and I was potentially going to buy 3. So I'm like, I'm just going to buy the 10 because I could tell they were the exact same spatula.
Yeah.
But they were from 2 different sellers and they were in different quantities. So I just was like, I'm going to buy from the one that's selling me 10.
Yeah. So like, that's a really good point. And what you can do, like any of the major Amazon softwares, right? They'll allow you to download reviews, and they put the reviews together in like easy to read formats, right? So you don't have to even manually anymore, like go through each listing and read the reviews. I would definitely suggest that if you want like a holistic picture, but you can download to a CSV all of these reviews, structure them, and then just breeze through them and see what people are talking about. Like, man, I really wish, like, I love this spatula, but I wish there was like 2 more in this package so I didn't have to buy 3 separate. And if you see that like multiple times repeated across 5,000 reviews, that kind of tells you when you're going to manufacture a product, let me make a 3-pack. And that's how I'll compete against this other spatula seller.
Even from like copywriting standpoint, it's a huge hack in e-commerce. Even if you're not selling on Amazon, to go on Amazon, export these reviews, filter them by keywords like we've done in the past, and see here's not only what the best things are, but here's what people complain about the most, and making sure when you're running ads to a competing product that you're highlighting those things. At least if you're running ads outside of Amazon, I know there's some limitations within Amazon of what you can write in those ads, but outside of Amazon, doing that research on Amazon, seeing what the buyers are saying, good and bad, and finding a way to address those things in your ads off Amazon to Shopify has been a massive win in copywriting for us, because you showed me how to pull those and filter that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why I like originally gravitated and like chose to specialize in Amazon, right? Because I've sold on Shopify and stuff, but whenever I got to Amazon, and like remember industrial engineer, so very analytical, I got to Amazon and like got to sell my first product and like got to the point where I needed to create the listing. I loved that all of the information was there on Amazon. It just required like a little work for me to extrapolate it and then sift through it. But like everything I needed to know to sell a product was right there in front of me. Whereas like whenever I created my Shopify websites, I had to figure that out myself. Well, I'll have to run ads, I'll have to sell some, get reviews, and figure out like what people like, what they don't. On Amazon, like all of the answers are there. You just have to be able to find them, right?
So what other advice do you have like from an ad side on Amazon? I know a lot of people struggle using ads and they lose money because of it.
Yeah, that's where we make like a lot of big moves on Amazon, where we take accounts from, you know, 30K to 400K in 6 months, is on the ad side. So most people's ads accounts are really messy, right? So we'll go in, we'll do an audit on an ad account, and there's zero structure. They're only running, you know, like one campaign, an auto campaign, right? They're not targeting like their top 5 keywords in different phrase matches, broad, phrase, and exact. So like lack of effort and lack of structure. So like when we go in and we restructure an account, it allows us to download all that data and like see where the gaps and the holes are. And like a lot of times it's as simple as that. So we'll do keyword research, we'll clean an account up, and we'll say, oh, look, you're like missing a 50,000 per month search keyword that you're not even running ads for, and it's like one of your primary keywords. So like that's a good tactic, is to like structure your ad account, make sure that it's really clean so that at a glance you know exactly what you're running in your ad account.
I know you audit a lot of accounts of big brands or companies that are doing volume at least. And I see you all the time find things you're like, if I just turn this off, you'll save like 20K a month. You know what I mean? What are those things that you're looking for to stop people from bleeding money?
Yeah, so like classic wasted ad spend. So you can download the CSV reports and like on these big accounts, they're different, right? There's like so much data. We use software to like download and analyze the account. I prefer not to like automate, like, you know, there's all kinds of AI automation softwares and stuff. I prefer to do it manually. Because until I'm proven wrong, like no robot has been able to outperform us manually. So we'll use software to download data on these big accounts, and then we'll look for wasted ad spend. And the way that we look for wasted ad spend is on a profit level. So we know the cost of goods sold on the product, and we'll calculate like clicks and ad spend versus sales and like true profit on that search term. Then it depends on like what your goals are, right? I'm launching, and I can run at break even or a slight loss, or like here's my ROAS that I want, or my ACOS. So like instant things that we can go in and just like instantly see an improvement is wasted ad spend on non-converting keywords. And like you really don't know what a non-converting keyword is going to be until you see the data. Yeah, right. Because like for a spatula, people could be searching for like
how to spank my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're not wrong though. They might be searching for other things. Like for example, I was looking for boots to wear to Burning Man, but I'm looking at like military boots, and I'm like, I'm looking for a different type of thing, or like I'm trying to find a backpack that's better for like a music festival, but they're like backpacks for backpackers and hiking. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like there's these little weird pockets that you might not be.
Or like on the flip side, instead of like finding bad keywords, like you could be selling a spatula and find a keyword like how to spank my wife that's gotten you like 100 sales in the last week.
Let's go.
Like, damn, I never thought of that. So then you run ads for it.
I never thought about it. I'm gonna get me a spatula.
and so like when you're looking at the ad account as an example here of profitability, right? Mm-hmm. Is this kind of what you're doing? So like I'll give an example. You know, this campaign spent 10K and made 20K. Okay. An owner, based on reporting from another agency, might see, oh, I'm at a 2X on this. This is awesome. We're making 10K extra. Mm-hmm. But after you take out the cost of goods, the Amazon fees, that 10K, that 20K to the 10 actually ended up netting a $2,000 loss, for example. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's cool. And dude, honestly, I see you audit a lot of accounts because I'm the one bringing these to you sometimes. And like, I feel like almost every account you've audited has this same problem over and over and over again.
I would say like 99% of accounts, yeah. Even the big guys spending like, 10K a day.
And they're still having these same problems.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And when you talk about Amazon ads too, the other interesting thing, like from my standpoint on the content side, is like, a YouTube ad is being played in front of another piece of content that is like, it's a disruptive piece of content, or like, Facebook ad or a Meta ad, you're scrolling and then the ad is kind of interrupting. Whereas like on Amazon, the ads are only really showing on the search results page. So like the ads are like being displayed between all these other listings. So that's like another thing to like when we're making whenever we're doing creatives for Amazon is like you got to kind of get in that mindset of the buyer of not only does this ad need to like be, you know, a pattern interrupt and all the other things that we think of when we make ads, but it's like not only that, it's literally playing in between all these other competitors. So you better figure out a way to make yours like stand out or do something better than the others, because otherwise it's like you don't need to explain what the product is and what it does necessarily, because people are already on that page. They're already searching for it. They're looking for that specific one. What is yours that's better than all of the others or whatever?
Yeah, so if your like video ad, for example, looks native to the platform, like people like that more, right? Because they don't like being advertised to, and like they'll click that more often, because in the top 15 spots of Amazon search results, like the first 5 are sponsored ads, right? And then
But those just look like listings.
Yeah, exactly. So people are used to on Amazon like ads looking like listings.
Same as on Google. You know, the top results are ads. Most people don't even know.
Yeah.
So what's I guess word on the street is that you're coming out with some content
Oh yeah.
to educate people on Amazon. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, so
where would
we'll
we find this content?
Yeah, we'll have some YouTube content for sure, where I'll give away like some specific like actionable stuff. Hey, if you are selling on Amazon, like here's what you could do. Like, go into your account, look for this, download this report, filter it like this, right? So like some very actionable stuff that's going to help a lot of people. And then we're going to come out with a full set of courses, right?
Okay. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
And you know, we wrap all these up in a very similar fashion, where we ask our guests to give us one piece of fortune cookie advice, something that, it doesn't need to sound like a fortune cookie, by the way, but like something that would be a really good takeaway for maybe yourself, you know, in your case, maybe 7-8 years ago, if you could go back and give yourself like one piece of life advice on just life, like what would you tell your younger self that you think would change the trajectory of where you're going in a positive direction?
Yeah. So 2 things that I want to share, and like in line with the merger, right? Above my desk, like before, you know, I joined 4Media, and still to this day is a canvas that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I literally live by that, right?
100%.
So like, yes, you can, you know, get pretty far like by yourself, but if you want to go really far and like do big things, join a good team, and like emphasis on good. Don't just like get your friend from down the street to be your business partner, right? They need to have like separate strengths than you, and like together you guys are going to be able to run much faster, which is what I've found out here. So that's that. Like first piece of advice.
And you do that with hiking too.
Yeah, for sure.
On your big ones, you have a group.
Far and fast. Yeah, that's true. So like whenever we do like dangerous stuff and like these big mountain like goals, we go with a group.
Yeah, a good group.
It's better to risk all our lives than just one.
So then second piece of advice, and this is for like people starting or like wanting to start. A lot of times you get really like analysis paralysis, right? Especially with Amazon. The like really popular question I get is like, well, I've been looking for like 4 months or 6 months and I just don't know what product to start. I think whenever I first started like into all of the e-commerce world, I saw a quote from Steve Jobs, and like everybody should know this. And he says something along the lines of like, you know, look around you. Everything you see around you is made by somebody that's no smarter than you are. So like you have the ability to influence the world around you. So like my advice to that would be like, get started, like just get started however you have to, whether it's on a small scale and then build up, just get started. And 5 years from now, you'll be thankful and you'll have a product that's valuable and in the marketplace that's going to change your life and other people's lives. So that's my 2 fortune cookies.
Love it. Those are actually fortune cookie sentences. You know what I mean? Like if you pull them out individually. So where's the best place for people to connect with you? Like chat with you one-on-one? Like what kind of social medias do you use mainly? And what's your handle so that people can connect with you, chat? Maybe if they want to get the Amazon course or learn more for themselves, just connect with you. Where would that be?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm mostly on Instagram. You can just look me up _MJordan. You can follow along on my crazy like hiking adventures, and then I'm starting to put some content out around the course and Amazon, and then look for us on YouTube, and I'm on Twitter a little bit, so same handle, just _MJordan.
Yeah, just don't confuse him with a giant 6'7" black Michael Jordan. You know what I mean?
On Threads. So
Imagine messaging him for Amazon advice.
I secured that handle on Threads, and like I'm getting tagged all the time. People think they're like tagging the basketball player.
Wait. What did you secure on Threads?
Just MJordan. _
nice.
MJordan. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, because I was like, I was pretty quick on Threads, and I was like, can I change my username? But it's the same as your Instagram name, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty solid.
So you didn't secure anything?
No.
But Michael Jordan isn't on Threads yet, probably.
Right.
So
That's what it is.
Yeah,
So the thing
everybody's
is when people are
tagging me.
tagging Michael Jordan, they think that they're tagging Michael
That's too
Jordan.
funny. Well, thank you for doing this podcast. Dude. This was fucking awesome, honestly. Love to hear your story and how it progressed. I learned a lot about you today too. And really cool what you're doing with Amazon here. I think we're, as you know from this weekend, Amazon's one of the biggest initiatives. And even when we left, like all we were talking about on the front seat of the car was like, we need to crack Amazon acquisition because that's going to be something massive. So super grateful for you, bro. You're an amazing partner. You're an amazing guy. You're awesome to work with. You're extremely talented, extremely intelligent, and blessed to have you on this podcast, dude. Thank you so much.
Likewise, you. Let's get it.
Extremely handsome too.
Yay. Thanks so much for watching another episode of the Bad Marketing Podcast. I hope you got immense value from it. And if you did, all we ask of you is that you share this with a friend that you think could find this very valuable. And depending on the platform that you're watching or listening to this on, please like, subscribe, or rate the podcast as best as possible. It really means a lot to us. We pour so much money, time, and effort into getting these guests here, filming all this, editing it, all for free just to give you free value. And all we ask in return is that you just share this with people. You give it a positive review so that we can continue to reach more people and impact more lives with all this effort that we're putting in. With that being said, thanks so much for tuning into the episode, and I look forward to continue to provide you more valuable content moving forward on the Bad Marketing Podcast. Make sure you subscribe.